TNT, by 95.7 The Game, the Bay Area's only FM sports station, and by Toyota. Check out the great deals at your local Toyota dealer today.
Welcome back to the DET at OAK Coliseum for the fourth and final game of the series. It's the Tigers and the Athletics from the Coliseum. It's a gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Here's the game time weather. It's brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. So 74 degrees, and indeed, sweet day at the yard. Tigers celebrating their division championship on Friday, but the A's bounced back yesterday, played a good game, and won the game 5-3 over Detroit. So the A's with a chance to win the series. Let's look at the lineup for the Detroit Tigers for this afternoon's ball game. Austin Jackson will lead things off, and then it's Don Kelly, Delmon Young, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Alex Avila, Carlos Guillen, Andy Dirks is in right field today, and Ramon Santiago is the shortstop.
Guillermo Moscoso on the mound for the Athletics, making his fourth start in this month, and he's 2-0 in those previous starts. The last one was a no decision, but his one start against the Tigers this year not particularly great, as it was back at Detroit. Went just 4 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs in that contest. So he'd like to return the favor this afternoon, especially as the A's try to win the series, winning 3 of 4 against the American League Central Division champions, the Detroit Tigers.
Defense behind Moscoso today. It has Willingham in left, Kristen center, and DeJesus in right. Sizemore, Sogard, Weeks, and Allen. Around the infield, and Kurt Suzuki is behind the plate. So here, Sogard gets the start at shortstop today. Moscoso wrapping up his warm-up tosses. Kurt Suzuki with the throw down to second base, and we're just about set for baseball. Bob Melvin and the Athletics, 69 and 83. So game number 152. Chris Carter is in the lineup today.
Welcome, Chris Carter, to Justin Verlander.
Oh well.
Never know what can happen in a game like today.
So Moscoso is ready to face Austin Jackson. First pitch of the ball game. Jackson fouls it straight back. The A's are 42 and 35 at home, and against the Tigers this year, they are 5 and 4. Obviously, last game of the season between these two teams. This ball is high, 1-1 the count. So Moscoso looking for win number 9 on the year. Austin Jackson has had a very difficult series. He's 0 for 12 with 6 strikeouts. He swings through that fastball.
Well, that says a lot about Austin Jackson, and that's a 2-1 pitch, looking fastball, 4-seam, and really tried to do a little bit too much. He's a leadoff hitter and probably should be thinking more about just up the middle opposite field. Looks like he wants to try to hit a home run, which he has 9.
And he strikes out again. 7th time he has struck out in this series, so a good start for Moscoso.
And his pitch was the 2-1 fastball, the 2-2. Moscoso did a very good job painting the outside corner. And Suzuki set up out there. That's exactly where the pitch was thrown. And again, a pretty good pitch to go to right field, but when you think about pulling, it's very difficult to take that outside fastball. In this case, not even swing at it.
So here's Don Kelly, who's in the lineup today at third base. Kelly was in the lineup in game 2 of the series, and he was playing right field. Pinch hit yesterday with a hit, a couple of RBIs. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike. The Tigers are 88 and 64, and they are 43 and 35 on the road. 6th year for Jim Leyland at the helm of the Tigers. So he'll, I would guess, start thinking about the postseason a little bit. Still a week and a half left.
It's amazing thing about him. He thinks about that, but he doesn't let you know that he's thinking about it. And he's thinking about today only. Just trying to keep his club sharp, because they have quite a while before they do play their first game. And that's something that, in case of the big guy, Miguel Cabrera, thinking about trying to stay sharp last couple of weeks of the regular season before they open against somebody. Whoever it is, of course, the saying, have to face Verlander twice at least. In the if it's a 5-game series, he will start game 1. He's pitching today, so they've got it set up so he will start game 1 in the division series.
Well, they have a slight edge for the second best record in the American League, and of course, that's the team that would play the wild card this year. But we don't know who the wild card's going to be. The Rays are winning again today in Boston. It's the Rays 6, the Red Sox 2. That game in the 7th inning. Not over yet. So full count now to Kelly with Delmon Young in the on-deck circle. Shot to right field. DeJesus gets back there, reaches up, and makes the catch. Well hit ball by Kelly, but DeJesus takes care of it, and that is out number 2.
It's all about the jump. Crack of the bat. You have an idea. 3-2. He's going to be looking fastball out in front. He's going to pull it hard, and he did. So he hit a home run already in the series, but DeJesus immediately broke back, had it timed perfectly and got to it, and that just shows defensive ability of David DeJesus and how he's able to move around.
So Delmon Young steps in, check swing, fouls it into the Tigers dugout. Nine homers, 53 runs batted in for Delmon Young. Oh, 2 count from Moscoso. Delmon Young is 1 for 9 in the series. Winning pitcher Gonzalez yesterday, win number 14.
Gio has 2 more starts. Start Friday against the Angels and should start the final game of the regular season or the season for both the A's and the Mariners in Seattle, Safeco Field, and he needs 2 more to top his last year's performance by 115 last season.
Got a couple of strikeouts for Moscoso. So as he gets Delmon Young, side retired, bottom of the 1st coming up. Athletics lineup. Weeks, Sizemore, Crisp, Willingham, DeJesus, Carter, Allen, Suzuki, and Sogard.
Well, as you mentioned, 23-game winner Justin Verlander. He's only lost 5. Last loss July the 15th. One of the losses came on April the 16th right here at the Coliseum when Dallas Braden, in his last start of the season, before he had shoulder surgery, defeated the Tigers and Verlander in that game. Final score of 6-2, but he has been spectacular. And Cap, I think what you said about the record of the Tigers since that July 15th has been unbelievable, with him winning those games.
He has won 11 consecutive starts. And that's not 11 consecutive decisions. That's 11 consecutive starts. And that is, you just do not see that very often. You see a guy 4 or 5 starts in a row win. But this is 11 and counting.
You see the earned run average of 251. So the chore today, the job today for Moscoso is give up 2 runs. The A's scored 2.5, and they beat him. That's right. And when you can score half a run in this game, then we will change the game of baseball.
Hey, that half run can make a big difference.
That's right.
Right field line. Dirks into the corner, and it's just foul. So the defense for the Tigers. Young, Jackson, and Dirks in the outfield. Kelly, Santiago, Guillen, and Cabrera on the infield, with Avila once again doing the catching. So Weeks back in the batter's box. Carlos Guillen a start at second base. So 1-2 the count to Weeks. Sizemore waits in the on-deck circle. Big breaking ball, and that's the pitch that, Ray, you said everybody talks about his fastball, but that may be his best pitch, and it is a hard snapper, boy.
Well, the thing about it, he'll throw it first pitch as this game progresses, and he'll throw it for strike, and he quickly has. And there is again.
It's popped up to shallow left center field. Jackson playing shallow. He's got it.
In the Dodge Charger keys of the game, Justin Verlander, Cy Young in the future. How about future being a couple of months by the time everything is over and the voting begins? And steal away for COCO Crisp. He is hitting third in the A's lineup today. As Hideki Matsui gets the afternoon off. So for Hideki Matsui, he gets today and tomorrow, with a scheduled day off tomorrow.
So 1 out for Sizemore. 240 with 10 homers, 52 runs batted in for the A's third baseman. He takes pitch on the outside corner for a strike. That one's hit hard into left field, and that's a base hit. 1 out single for Sizemore.
Well, you say, well, he played with him. He knows him. Forget it. Doesn't matter. That's just a good fastball inside corner that Scott Sizemore pulled his hands in perfectly to get the sweet part of the bat on the ball. Kelly, no chance at third base in between he and the shortstop, Santiago. And really, with Verlander, you get his fastball, all you have to do is put a good swing. He will provide the power. Just hope you don't get the big hook. The hammer. Of course, the hammer in the on-deck circle got the hammer from Doug Fister Friday night. He's the only run the A's have scored. The 27th home run for Josh Willingham.
So his fastball average is 95.
He only throws it 57% of the time.
I got better pitches. Well, I do think he's one of those guys too, Ray, where you may see him 92, 93 early, but the velocity picks up as the game goes on.
Yeah, good pitchers like Verlander will hang a little bit in reserve just when they need it.
1-0 to COCO Crisp. COCO hitting in the third spot. It's good to see him back in the lineup. He's been in the lineup now all 4 games in this series. And he's had a good series. 6 for 14 with a couple of doubles, 3 RBIs, a couple of steals. So Foot feeling much better.
You ask Coco at any time whether he's been hurt, playing, not. You ask him how you feel. I feel great. You know, so he's never one to try to get out of the lineup, and he'd really like to see that, especially, of course, when he fouled the ball off his foot. Not much he could do, even though he tried to play.
Runner goes, throw to second base is there, and Sizemore is out. Just about a perfect throw by Alex Avila.
Well, Avila does it so well, and you might be looking at the American League Gold Glove winner, because the one thing he does do, of course, he gets a great tag from. Watch him come out from behind the box. He is moving as soon as the ball is en route, and of course the accurate throw at second base. And the thing that he said that really helped him more than anything last season was Gerald Laird, who caught for the Tigers, helped him the most, especially with the footwork. And he's been great this season, and you throw out the percentage that he has, not much you can ask more for a catcher. And in addition to 19 home runs, 77 runs batted in.
Oh yeah,
so,
that offensive thing too. Huh?
But he is just 24, just his 4th full season in professional baseball. 3 seasons at University of Alabama. The Tigers have their catcher for quite a while.
So 2-2 the count to Crisp, just underway from the O.Co Coliseum. Moneyball day at the ballpark. We got Jonah Hill, one of the co-stars from the movie, which we'll see tomorrow night. But Jonah Hill is here throughout the first pitch. He's going to join us in the booth. Also Scott Hatteberg, big character in the movie. Not Scott himself, but the Scott Hatteberg character is a big part of Moneyball. And Scott's going to come up and visit with us a little bit later in the game, so we'll look forward to that. 3-2 to Coco Crisp. Swing and a miss. The breaking ball, and he gets the strikeout. So that's how the first inning comes to an end. No score after 1.
Chevy's giving you more value this season with Chevy Free Parking Tuesdays. Every Tuesday home game, with the exception of premium games and dual events with the arena, you'll pay nothing. That is nothing to park, courtesy of Chevy. Tuesday night, Rangers in town. See your Northern California Chevy dealer for a great selection of Chevy cars, trucks, and crossovers. For more information, visit oaklandathletics.com/Tuesday. And that's where we will see you Tuesday after tomorrow's off day. Rangers in town, first of a 3-game series on Tuesday night, the final 3 games, home games of this 2011 season.
So Cabrera, Martinez, Avila for the Tigers here in the second inning. Moscoso retired him in order in the first with a couple of strikeouts. Cabrera, 333, 26 homers, 97 runs batted in. Third best batting average in the American League. He's 8th in the league in RBIs. Reaches for that one, hits it toward left. Willingham is there. True story brought to you by McDonald's. Yesterday, Gio Gonzalez gets his 14th victory of the season. 7 innings, just 1 run allowed, strikes out 4, 101 pitches, and then he's winning 5-3. So just a good solid outing for Gio Gonzalez. Gio raises his record to 14-12. 186 innings pitched, Ray, for Gio Gonzalez. So he's got 2 more starts. He needs 7 and 7. So we're pulling for him.
He can do it easily. 2 tough games coming up. I think that's a time when a manager can look at the statistics and see where he is in regards to getting to that magical 200 innings. And one pitcher the A's had several years ago, I'll say Jeff Tam, ended up being a third of an inning short. And you know, I was like, doesn't anybody realize what's going on?
Well, you know what, and quite frankly, I agree with you. I think a manager should know where things are at. I mean, it's important to the player.
Well, managers don't want to know about contracts. And
No,
really, statistics and innings pitched doesn't have anything to do with that. But you know, if a contracted guy reaches so many innings or so many starts, you know, might kick in an option or whatever. But they don't want to know about that. But as far as the statistics, especially for a pitcher, that's important. The 200 innings, very important. Although, as we have talked before, one time 300 innings was the benchmark.
One and 2 to Victor Martinez. This one's line foul. Speaking of innings pitched, Moscoso did spend some time in the minor leagues this year. He threw 46 innings in the minors. And now 116 at the big league level. So he's at 162 innings total. Not a bad number for a guy who's really in a rotation at the major league level for most of the season.
He had 2 relief appearances in Boston. After that, except for those, he has been in the rotation and pitched very well. I think the most remarkable one, we've talked about it with Brandon McCarthy, who started this series and won. See the numbers for Moscoso in his last 2 wins, last 3 starts in the month of September. So he is finishing very strongly. Only 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. Had 2 more today, so 14 strikeouts for him. Continues to be a fly ball pitcher.
And now a full count to Victor Martinez.
Back-to-back changeups. It's tough to get Victor to chase a breaking pitch out of the strike zone.
He's just a good hitter right out of the get-go. First arrive. Payoff pitch. And he did chase ball 4 there, but just did get a piece of it to stay alive.
That time the fastball. And think about Victor Martinez. He has driven in 94. He's hit just 11 home runs by comparison to Cabrera, 26 home runs. But by him waiting as long as he does And he cheated a little bit on the 3-2 looking fastball. He got it, but it was out of the strike zone. But I think that's the time when you might think he's going to throw me the fastball, as he did to Jackson, struck him out. He's going to cheat a little bit, maybe try to hit a home run.
Good swing there, fouls it straight back. So the battle continues between Moscoso and Martinez, with Avila in the on-deck circle. Fastball is high, and pretty good battle won by Martinez. So that's the first base runner allowed by Moscoso. Well, if you're looking for the Raiders post-game live show, it's airing right now on Comcast Sportsnet Plus, which can be found on Comcast Digital Cable Channel 410, DirecTV Channel 699, AT&T Channel 768. If you can't find Comcast Sportsnet Plus, log on to csncalifornia.com or call your local cable operator. The Raiders lost a tough one in Buffalo today. Alex Avila steps in. Martinez, very short lead at first. Breaking ball in for a strike. The Tigers are fourth in the American League in runs scored. Very good lineup. But in this series, they have scored just 7 runs. So the A's pitchers have really done a good job. The one game the Tigers won in this series, and that was Friday, it was a 3-1 final.
That's all they wanted.
Yeah, well, that's true.
They just needed one.
0-2 to Avila.
You know, this is for the Tigers the remainder of this season. It's almost like spring training, the final week to 10 days, where you're trying to stay tuned with your hitting, your pitching, whatever it might be, getting ready to start the season, because no doubt October is a new season for those 8 teams who are fortunate to make it. The most important thing is to stay sharp, be sharp when that second season does begin. They call them the peaks and the valleys. You want to be at the peak, or at least on the way to the peak as that time starts, just like the beginning of the season out of spring training.
But you've said it too, Ray. I mean, as a hitter, you can get a little out of sync if you have 2 or 3 days off.
Yeah. And that's why I think Jim Leland, as he has done so far after clinching, they're playing. And why not? You know, sure, you might rest them a little bit. Ordonez's getting a couple of days off, but you know, McGinn's playing for the first time, so there's no reason not to play these guys, because they're scheduled to play 162 anyway. As you mentioned, starting this series a couple years ago, they now played 162, but 163. So those guys played every game right down the wire. So even though you clinch early, guys want to stay ready, stay in the game. Peralta gets the day off today, so Jim Leland can, with his bench, be able to give guys rest, but yet keep them sharp enough by keeping them in the game consistently.
Tigers have an off day tomorrow, and then they will play at Kansas City Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they finish with a 7-game homestand against the Orioles and the Indians. So they will finish at home, which is nice, and then get ready for the postseason. Strike 3 called right there. Avila took it. 3rd strikeout for Moscoso.
Well, and we have talked about the, quote, sneaky fastball. And this is what you're seeing right here. Outside corner is a target, the pitch on the inside. And credit to Mike DeMuro, who, even though Suzuki had to reach a little bit to his right, the pitch clearly was in the strike zone over the plate. And Mike DeMuro called 3rd strike. Seen umpires who say you reached too much. Well, it's still a strike, but you reached too much, and you know, you missed target by that much. Well, it's in the strike zone. It's in the strike zone regardless.
That is Mike DeMuro. Andy Fletcher at first. Eric Cooper at second, and the crew chief is Jim Reynolds. He's down at 3rd. Carlos Guillen, the hitter. Just one at bat in this series for Carlos Guillen. Injuries have really been the story for Guillen last couple years. Last year, just 68 games. In 2009, just 81 games. And this year for Guillen, just 28 games. The question is, will Jim Leyland go with the veteran come postseason? DET AT OAK's done a pretty nice job. He's been playing more.
That's a nice option to have, but there's no doubt when Guillen did come back off the disabled list, his entire team is ecstatic. They want the veteran around. They need for him to be somewhere around, whether it's in the lineup or on the bench. I think that's going to factor in, especially going into postseason, because he does have postseason experience. That man has postseason experience as well. Jim Leyland in the National League, the American League, won with the Marlins. 97, long time.
Guillen fouls it back. Carlos Guillen is 35 years old. He'll be 36 on September 30th, and this is his 13th year in the big leagues. Remember, he started with the Seattle Mariners.
Yes, he did. Got off the turf, still had bad knees, moved him out of the shortstop position because of knee surgeries, and played third, outfield, first, second, so he's been all over the place. Still a dangerous hitter.
This one's popped up. Shallow left center. COCO Crisp takes charge. He's got it side retired. So 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for MOSCOSO. Willingham's going to lead it off. No score.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Pepsi Max Sports Highlight. You can look for the highlight you wish to see. Look to the scoreboard and opt for your favorite. Would you like to see a highlight of the Rays and the Red Sox? Or an NFL highlight of the Bears and the Saints? Or would you like to see an NFL highlight of the Raiders and the Bills?
Is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Whether it's a steam train through the Redwood Forest or the beach train to Santa Cruz, Roaring Camp is the ride of a lifetime. RoaringCamp.com. No score. It's the bottom of the second inning from the Coliseum. And Willingham will lead it off, followed by DeJesus and then Carter. Verlander gave up a hit in that first inning, got a strikeout. Verlander's first pitch to Willingham. He's in for a strike, 91 miles an hour. 27 homers, 92 RBIs for Willingham, and his average 56. Three hits in the series. One of those a home run for Willingham. good curveball.
And Moscoso did it top of the inning where again threw him a 2-0 curveball for a called strike, then a 3-2 curveball got him to pop up, and that's something that actually both pitchers, we know Verlander can do it as he just did it, but Moscoso also adding the nice curveball in already.
That one another curveball, he just missed.
As always with a pitcher who throws an outstanding curveball, you hope the umpire does not quit on it, give up too soon and not call it, or think it's going to be a ball before it breaks into the strike zone.
And there's the walk. So Willingham's aboard, and that'll bring up David DeJesus.
Batting in the 5th position, right fielder.
All right, I got a special congratulations on an anniversary today. You know Harold Miller works down in the lunchroom, right? Well, Harold told me that today is the 45th anniversary. 45 years ago, he started working here at the Coliseum. Ticket sales way back when the Raiders weren't even playing here. Frank Ewell Field. Started there and came over to the Coliseum. And Harold's a very nice man, and 45 years. He's been working at the Coliseum Arena and first couple years over at Frank Ewell Field. How about that?
It's about the same time, a little before this place was built.
Yeah. So Harold, very nice man.
Congratulations.
Hope he's here for another 45.
You hope so too. We all hope that.
Yeah, you walk into the lunchroom, he's the first man you see, and well, he puts a smile on your face. He's a nice guy. David DeJesus, the hitter, 236, 9 homers, 45 runs batted in. DeJesus in this series is 4 for 9. And he has faced Verlander 43 times. Of course, they were in the same division for a long time. 13 for 43. That's a .302 average.
I think Bob Melvin has said he knows that David has been swinging the bat well, playing very solid defense, and it's kept him in the lineup because, bottom line, Bob Melvin wants to win. This organization wants to win. Play hard right down to the end of the season, which is a week from Wednesday.
Delmon Young shading his eyes, fighting it a little bit, and he caught it. And the throw back to first is going to get Willingham. Now, you may be thinking, what the heck is Willingham doing? But I think he was watching, and he saw how Young was struggling, and he started moving towards second base a little bit. So you kind of understand what Willingham was doing.
The ball found his glove. He put the glove up. Watch this. And right at the less than a second, watch him. He does not know where the ball is. He's looking and then found it. Just had the glove in the right position and the relay. And yesterday, Josh Willingham, the one run that Gio Gonzalez gave up with Peralta hitting, and the bases loaded. Josh was in left field, and he had a similar ball. He put the glove up at the last instant. If he misses it, 3-run score and ties the game. And so he's thinking the same thing. And, you know, swirling wind, the view corridor, although very barely the wind blowing the right field view corridor, and left field where he's standing, hardly any, but still it swirls a little bit. But I'm not surprised that Josh went as far as he did because he's been there. He knows this is a tough summer.
2-1 to Chris Carter. Carter 4 for 30 so far this year. Breaking ball inside corner, called a strike. 2-2. Another breaking ball, same spot, strike 3 call.
Johnny.
Second strikeout for Verlander. So we're headed to the third. No score. No score, and we are pleased to be joined in the booth by actor Jonah Hill.
How you doing?
From Moneyball. How are you? Thanks for stopping by.
Good. This is such a thrill to be in Oakland at the game. I mean, this is where I've been here since we shot the film.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time here, huh?
I did. I'm in the bowels of this place. When I was walking out, I was like, oh, that's where Brad and I were standing when we shot this, and
well, it's good that you get to see it on game day.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's so nice to make a movie about a team and have, you know, be amongst the team. Yeah. It's great.
So how were the bowels, by the way, of the Coliseum?
They were gorgeous. They were gorgeous bowels.
They must have cleaned them up for you. That's great, though.
Yeah, they did. No, they left them filthy for us. It was great.
So, Jonah, you play the
He's not loving this.
I'm not going anywhere near this. You guys
not with a 10-foot pole. Not with a 10-foot pole.
So you play the character who is Paul DePodesta, but that's not his name. What is his,
Yeah,
what
I
is
play
your
like a
name?
composite character named Peter Brand, who's kind of an amalgamation of a few different guys who worked for Billy and also just were using sabermetrics at that time. And you know, it's to me, for an A's fans, it's going to be so cool to see the 20-game streak in the movie. It really is emotional, and you know, it was great to get to throw the pitch to Hatterberg today. That was so cool. That was so cool because he hits the 20th home run, obviously.
What took you so long to throw the pitch? I mean, you were really milking it.
I'm a ham. You know what I mean? I was hamming it up out there.
Pretty obvious. I mean, everybody was yelling, "Throw the ball, let's go, throw it," and you were just, you know.
Oh God, let's not look at this.
Of course. Now this is gonna take about 5 minutes.
Yeah, because no, they cut. They cut.
Yourself, you know.
Cheering myself, hamming it up.
There's no cutting here. No.
Oh no.
Good enough.
Hey, look, as long as it didn't bounce, I'm all right. That's all I care about. No bounce. I jumped in Hatterberg's arms. Listen, it was like winning the World Series for me. It was cool, you know. You guys are used to this stuff, but to me, it's exciting.
You threw it from the top of the mound, so that's impressive.
Yeah, what do you
were
there? What? I went from the top of the mound. Come on, man. We guys like us, we throw from the mound.
I know, exactly. That's what I mean. But,
Would you throw from the mound?
Oh yeah. Second base.
See, Jonah, when
I was going to throw from the warning track out there.
See, some would not go up on that mound because of Dallas Braden. You know, they say, no, if Dallas says that's his mound, they don't even think about it. So that's impressive, see.
Listen, I just decided that I want to do Oakland proud and at least get it over the plate from the mound like a gentleman.
You did. That's good.
Listen, it wasn't the heater I was planning on.
That's all right.
I had a cannon, but I just didn't load the cannon properly today.
So tell us, were you a baseball fan before this whole Moneyball thing came aboard?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing Little League and collecting cards and going with my parents and stuff to the games, and it's such a feeling of of just like being a kid. You know, it's so exciting and youthful, and whenever you go to a game, that feeling kind of rushes back. And I ended up becoming more of a baseball fan. I mean, a basketball fan as I grew up. But then when I got this part, I really like reconnected with baseball in a deep way, and just had it on all the time, Sports Center all the time, and yeah, being here today, it's just great. Oh, Comcast. Sorry.
We don't use those words.
Oh, you don't work at Sports Center?
No.
What's Sports Center? I don't even know what that is.
That's right.
That's a crappy station. That's not Comcast, right?
Now I have to ask you.
I don't know. I'm trying to recover here, man.
You're doing great. You're doing great. No, I didn't hear anything in my ear. I just did that automatically. I have to ask you, though, as an actor, you get a script.
Yeah.
How hard is it to follow the script? I mean, is it verbatim? Do you do exactly what they tell you to do from the script standpoint, or do you have some flexibility to ad-lib, do whatever you want?
It honestly all depends on the director and what they want. You know, sometimes they'll say, you know, mess around with it, have fun, you know, improvise and stuff. And then some directors want you to do exactly the way it's written. I think, you know, this film, Aaron Sorkin wrote The Social Network, and Steve Zalian, who wrote Schindler's List, wrote the film Moneyball. So there's nothing I'm going to do that's going to improve upon what these guys are doing, you know. So I kept it as much to the script as Bennett, the director, wanted me to.
So when you saw the movie, what did you think? I mean, was it as good as you had hoped it would be?
Better. It blew me away. I mean, honestly, it's a really, obviously if you're a baseball fan, you're going to love the baseball stuff, but they really just use baseball as a like a beautiful aesthetic backdrop to tell this moving story about underdogs and being undervalued, and that's all great sports movies have to have that undervalued, underdog type of feel, and this one just pays off.
Well, we get to see it tomorrow. I have not seen it, I mean, except for the trailers, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think you guys will be very happy with how it turned out, and I think we did Oakland proud.
What can you tell us about your character?
He is a statistician. He's a brilliant statistician and mathematician, and he's a guy who has never had like a light shined on him before. And Billy Bean is the first guy to ever.
Jonas, finish. Tell us about your character when we come back, all right? Because I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. Jonah Hill throws out the first pitch. Yes.
Time for the Aquafina water.
No score, bottom of the third. Premiere of Moneyball tomorrow.
That's right.
We're excited. We're talking with Jonah Hill, one of the co-stars, and you were telling us about your character, what he's all about. You said he's a brilliant statistician to start with.
Statistician and mathematician, and he could have been a billionaire in the stock market. All the guys he went to Yale with are billionaires, and he worked in baseball because he loved baseball. He couldn't do anything else. So he really combined his love for baseball with these new statistics and radical ideas, and him and Billy kind of formed this team where Billy's kind of the bazooka and Peter is the ammunition. Together they blow through the wall of a 150-year-old thought process. You know.
Was that the ad lib of the movie? That's a pretty good description.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, honestly, it's
Did it just come to you?
Huh?
Did that just come to you?
No, I thought of that beforehand. I'm not gonna lie, I thought of that beforehand. But you know, I don't know. It's cool for me because you're used to seeing me do comedies, and that's what I'm known for. And it's exciting for me to get to do being a drama, especially with Brad Pitt and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's really exciting to try something different.
Pretty good cast. Huh?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little intimidated.
What about your other work? You just talked about what are some of the things that you've done for people that might not know what you're.
You probably know me from Get Him to the Greek or Superbad, movies like that. Knocked Up, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, a lot of comedy films, and then and this is kind of the first big drama I've been a big part of. So
Get Them to the Greek is great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, all that stuff is it's.
You have your hands full, by the way.
Yeah. I've been really lucky to be a part of some really funny movies and stuff I'm really proud of. You know. What about you guys?
Did you get to take any batting practice and swing actually during the movie?
Yeah, when we were shooting the movie, Brad and I would go in there and they'd let us hit balls and stuff. It was cool. And everyone who had brought their kids, would get to hey, they were really psyched to get to use the batting cages.
In the bowels of the Coliseum.
In the bowels, deep in the bowels, my friend. But it was really cool getting to throw the ball around on the field. That to me was and hit balls. We got to hit balls on the field. And that to me was you feel like you're 8 years old and you're like, this is the craziest thing ever, it just is so exciting. And it was really cool because when we were shooting game 20 of The Streak from 2002, we had a lot of fans who were actually at the game in the stands.
They wanted to be part of it again.
Yeah, and that made it feel really authentic, and you could tell how much how fondly they thought of that experience, and it was a really it's very surreal, like having Hatterberg be on the field with a guy playing Hatterberg, and
Well, there were 55,000 here, and where you're seeing Mount Davis is, you probably are aware of, that was open, no tarps in the upper deck, completely packed, 55,000, and so I'm sure a lot of people remember exactly what happened 2002, but
that's right.
Yeah, it was great. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, obviously. Were you there that game?
Yes, I was.
Wow.
Yes, I was.
Was it a special experience?
Absolutely. I was in the booth right next door doing it with the late Bill King.
Wow.
And it was great because to have a game start out 11-0 with Tim Hudson on the mound, which, you know the whole part. And
everyone asked me after the game, after the movie, they go, so they just made up that way game 20 went down. And I was like, no, that's an all real 11-0 lead. Yeah. And they came back. And then Hatterberg hits a home run to win the game.
But Jonah, in the top of the 10th, when Luis Alicea tied it with a double, he's standing at second base. Billy Koch gave up the hit. 2 outs, he's picked off second.
Right.
I mean, if he's at second, the next guy probably gets a hit. Maybe it's 12-11 at that time. But that's how things changed. But then Scott Hatterberg, who did not start the game.
Oh, wow, we're going to see right now.
He came back, and watch him. Have you seen him go around the bases?
Oh, yeah.
Check him out. This is not Scott Hatterberg. That part is hitting a home run. But watch the enthusiasm. Look at this. He never did this. Look at him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was exciting. There's no doubt. Billy Koch, who blew the save, and
we use that.
Top.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. And Hatterberg's a great guy.
Oh, he's great.
He's so fun, yeah. And Chris Pratt, the guy who plays him, is great in the movie.
How many swings did it take him? The
Chris Pratt, yeah. I think I was like, Chris, you're never going to feel cooler in your entire life than shooting this scene. Like, who gets to hit the home run in the baseball drama, to win the game? Like, I think he knew how exciting that was. But it was funny, the ones where he would pretend, because sometimes he would he wouldn't get a good swing in or something, but they could still use other parts of it. So he'd pretend like he hit the home run, but it was really the crappiest hit you've ever seen in your entire life. Sorry, Chris.
The outtakes are beautiful.
Yeah, because he'll miss the ball completely or just a little dinky hit, and then celebrate like it's the biggest home run you've ever seen. Everyone's jumping around.
Jonah, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night. Okay.
It was great chatting with you guys.
I think I said only 3 more outs, so sorry, you got to go.
Oh man, well, it was so fun hanging with you guys. Thank you guys so much. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine.
No score. It's the top of the fourth inning from the Coliseum. It'll be Kelly, Young, and Cabrera for the Tigers. Both pitchers sharp early. Moscoso has not given up a hit. He's got 4 strikeouts and he has walked 1. Verlander has allowed just 1 hit with 3 strikeouts. So Verlander, Moscoso sharp early in the game. Kelly hit a line drive to DeJesus in right field. He's back in the first inning. Swing and a miss. So 2-0, a fastball, and Kelly missed it.
You know, one thing about Guillermo Moscoso, and you look at a starting pitcher who is given the nod as being the opening day starter, the #1 starting pitcher, you always figure you're going to face the #1 of the opposing team. But I don't know throughout this season when Moscoso has gone against the so-called #1 of the opposition that he has not excelled. He's pitched very well, and that's a credit to him, as is the case today against Verlander. Mixing his pitches, he started with the 4th batter, starting to mix his pitches of the day instead of staying with just the fastball, which is a good one, as that one was.
And there is strikeout number 5 for Moscoso. All right, time now for a trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Who were the starting pitchers for the Royals and the A's on September 4th of 2002? That is the date that the A's won their 20th game in a row. You saw the game-ending home run from Scott Hatterberg. Who were the starting pitchers? So it was fun talking to Jonah Hill, the co-star, as he is Brad Pitt's right-hand man in the movie. On 1 to Delmon Young. Young hits one hard. Diving play by Sizemore. Gets up, throws in town. Well, the A's have not made an error in this series, and they've made some really nice plays.
Well, this one, of course, for a second baseman with the Tigers, now third baseman for the Athletics, Scott Sizemore. A great job of taking 2 away from Delmon Young to his right, up quickly, and a perfect throw to first base. So I would think the Tigers have to be thinking, wait a minute, you played second for us, and now you've moved to third and you're playing that well, which he has. And, you know, again, for his first season at third base and not a complete season without any spring training. And that's kind of what you look forward to next year when spring training begins. And he is able to take a lot of ground balls at third, learn some of the nuances of playing the position without having to do it during the season. Should make a huge difference for him.
On 1 to Cabrera. And it's 0-2. The Rays still leading the Red Sox. It's now 8-5. And it's the bottom of the 8th inning at Fenway. Keep a close eye on that one as it inches toward finishing. Cabrera on an 0-2 pitch. Rips one to right field, but DeJesus got a good jump. Tracks it down. Side retired. 8 in a row retired by Moscoso. Bottom of the 4th. Coming up. answer. Starting pitchers for the Royals and the A's on September 4th of 2002. That was the date the A's won their 20th consecutive game. Paul Byrd and Tim Hudson. How about that?
Well, and the guy that gave up the game winner in back-to-back games was none other than Ross Grimsley.
Jason
Grimsley, that is. Thank you. Got part of it right. The most important part, because
the Grimsley kid.
Ross does not want to be known for doing that. But Jason did, and other things.
Top of the order for the A's against Verlander. Week, Sizemore, and Crisp. So 1-1. Weeks hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning. This one's tapped toward Verlander, off the mound, underhands to first.
Cap, you're talking about the scoreboard, and of course for the Angels, Jared Weaver, as was projected and actually did happen, he pitched today on 3 days rest, so he'll face the A's next Friday, and then the Angels hope the game means something. As again, something happened to him. Ian was not involved in that play, Carlos Guillen, but something happened, and they're out quickly to take a look. Maybe he was going over, starting to field a slow hit ball that Verlander ultimately was able to handle.
So he's coming out. Yeah,
that's not good. Wow. And it had to be just a movement as the ball was slowly hit by JEMILE Weeks, and maybe he thought he was going to have a chance to go get the ball, and did something as he must have been doing it. So he has had knee issues, and you know that's a reoccurrence, but same up here as he takes off.
Right?
Yeah. Right there. He just comes up a little short.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Defensive
Ryan Rayburn,
for Detroit.
As I was saying, that Jared Weaver, of course, it was a very important win for the Angels, and they did win the final game of the weekend series after losing the first two to Baltimore. 11-2 was the final today, and the Rangers at Seattle, they're scoreless in the fourth inning. So the Angels trying to pick up a game, or at least avoid another game being taken as far as the magic numbers concerned. But that's good to see Weaver pitch well today, considering he did not pitch as well on 3 days rest against the Rangers their last trip to Arlington.
Austin Jackson moves to his left. He's got it. Well, the magic number for Texas is 7. Of course, that includes the Angels winning, so nothing happens with the magic number there. So 7 for the Rangers to win the West.
Center fielder, number 4, COCO. Chris.
Toronto beat the Yankees today 3-0.
And the Rangers
4.5 game lead in the East.
Rangers will be coming to Oakland with an off day tomorrow, while the Angels are going to be in Toronto starting a 4-game series. Unfortunately for them, 4 night games, including the Thursday series finale, and then they travel west to go home for the final 6. The first on Friday, the first of 3 against the A's. The A's are to be in town before they even get probably past the 4th or 5th inning.
Line drive by COCO Crisp, and he's got a base hit with 2 outs. Second hit off Verlander.
Well, and this is where the catcher and pitcher start thinking about COCO stealing a base as he jumps on the high fastball, belt high, and nice swing, flat foot, and comes through nicely with a nice swing and gets the base hit with 2 outs. So again, even though Josh Willingham a threat to hit a home run, you'd have to think COCO's got to be thinking stolen base.
Quick throw, and Chris just gets back. COCO has stolen 16 consecutive bases. He's got 42 on the year.
Well, this is a challenge with Avila behind the plate, and pitcher throws a mid-90s fastball. It gets to the catcher very quickly, and footwork by Avila.
Crisp on the year has been thrown out 9 times. Brett Gardner with 45 steals. COCO 3 behind Gardner coming into today.
There are some pitchers, and I don't think Verlander or Avila combination is in this category, but will throw fastballs with a stolen base threat at first base. And I don't know that, of course, it helps to catch with a fastball, but COCO may be trying to figure out what pitch to run on if he's going to. So he's got 3 fastballs as rolling in.
Well, not a lot of attempts for Verlander. He doesn't have a lot of base runners. The league is hitting just 192 against him. Willingham on 3-0 pops it up. Rayburn, the second baseman, near the line. He's under it. Little snow cone. He's got it. Side retired. So we're headed to the 5th inning. No score. When we come back, Scott Hatteberg will join us. Joined in the booth by Scott Hatteberg, who? The star. You're not actually in the movie, but you're the star.
Oh, jeez. I'm blushing.
But you are a star, man.
Oh, it's some roundabout way, maybe.
Could you ever have imagined?
No, are you kidding me?
It's awesome.
This is a Forrest Gump feel to me.
But you spent a lot of time, I don't know if it was a lot, but you were here some for when they were doing the movie here at the Coliseum. You spent a lot of time here. What was that like being here as kind of a consultant and yet seeing it all come together?
Well, they had it pretty much under control. I didn't consult a whole lot, but I had my kids there. I was trying to keep them out of the shots mostly. But it was pretty cool. Movie fan, who doesn't want to be behind the scenes and see how the whole thing's shot? And they are pros, and they nailed it. And it was pretty cool seeing those stars and all. Just beat up a scene. They do one scene for 6 hours, and I don't know how they do it. But
how long did they beat up your home run?
Gosh, you know what? I missed that part. I heard Chris Pratt though when he hit it. You know, they did a take, and I heard he broke his bat, and so. But you have to play it out.
Sure.
Heard he tripped around third, and anyway, I haven't let him live that one down yet.
I'd love to see the outtake, something like that.
There might be. Yeah.
Jonah Hill was talking about that. You know, they might not use the swing, but other parts of the scene, and So, yeah, broken bat, falling down. That part's not in the movie. It's a perfect home run. You know, do you ever think back, and I've never asked you this, why didn't you start that game?
Well, I think there was a lefty going, and I know I did a lot of that kind of lefty sitting occasionally.
Bird is.
Yeah,
was he right?
Yeah, they said it was Paul Bird who started.
He was a righty. Yeah, the big windup. Yeah.
Well, maybe I was just stinking at the time, and they just said, "We don't want you in the lineup."
No, they said we're going to save you for the ninth inning, the dramatic ninth.
They felt the drama.
But what were you guys thinking? Tim Hudson on the mound, 11-0 lead early.
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking the banner's going to come down maybe in the 5th inning and 20 consecutive wins. Next thing you know, you're the hero.
It was a great feeling going into the game, knowing that the odds were in our favor. You know, I think we called up. We had a lot of call-ups that day. And there wasn't a lot of room in the clubhouse or in the dugout, so I was up in the clubhouse basically celebrating, drinking coffee, and everything went awry, and next thing you know, here we were.
Well, here it is. I want to talk about this emotion. I mean, you hit it.
It's poised. This isn't poised.
No, but take a look at this. This is great.
Look at that. Oh, that was a great feeling. What a night,
Yeah,
huh?
what a night.
What
exactly right. Very, very big night. And that's couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Oh,
you're
sweet.
Yeah,
You're
no,
sweet.
that's because that's, I mean, for you to be a catcher.
That's right.
And then to become a first baseman, a great first baseman. I mean, you handle it well. You know, and I think the one scene that is in the movie where they asked Ron Washington in the office, and I saw Washington, Texas, you know what he was saying. But it was basically what's it, they just told me, say, make him a first baseman. And you couldn't have a better guy teaching you to play first base or play infield at all.
I mean, you said a lot there. There are a lot of good coaches in this game, but there are very few like genius teachers, and I'm telling you, he falls in that category. Yeah. That guy, he could teach baseball like nobody I'd seen, and I think Chavez and Tejada both will say the same thing. And he made me, you know, from chicken something to chicken salad. You know, I mean, it was pretty awesome.
But how tough was it? I mean, they always say about first base being easy when you're a catcher or another position player, but I'm sure you dispute that.
Completely. I mean, as a catcher, I never picked ground balls up, as we know. We caught balls, and we were good at staying in front of it. But when the ball was hit to me, my first instinct was not to use my gloves so much as to just tackle it.
You're right, block it.
So I just tackled it more often than I caught it at the beginning, and Wash beat that out of me. And, you know, I got passable over there, and it was all thanks to him.
So what's it like sitting there watching a movie being done where there is a character playing you? Is that kind of strange?
Kind of strange. I mean, this is crazy. I keep pinching myself. I don't know. This is uncharted territory for me, and so it's surreal, definitely, and I don't know. It's pretty cool, is all I can say.
Now, did they ask you anything? I mean, as far as consulting goes, because you were there. What were some of the questions that maybe the people making the movie did ask you, if there were any?
Well, you know, they kind of had it under control. I think Chad Kruger was on set and did a lot of the baseball stuff, and I know I talked to Chris Pratt, who's playing me, and he's a right-handed hitter and I'm left-handed, so he had to spend a lot of time trying to get my mannerisms and then look passable as a big leaguer swinging. So he spent months trying to get there, and I think a lot of that was with Chad, and I think they did a great job. So really, those months of training were not something I was a part of.
And you think about it, players work their life to get to the big leagues, and he creates a part in 2 months.
Looks genius in 3 months. He's as good as we are.
Don't you wish if you had a bad swing, you could just do it over?
Yeah.
If I had an editor, that would really have helped. All those rollovers.
Scotty, the original, and you know, again, this is something that I'd heard, and I know better than us, but when the original movie was going to be shot, weren't the players, yourself and Art Howe, going to be a part of it?
Yeah, Steve Soderbergh was the director initially, and his plan was to have all the players play themselves. Right. We were down in L.A. They were cutting our hair and getting us ready in costumes, and at kind of the 12th hour, they pulled the plug over I think, script problems or something, so that got scrapped.
And what would you have thought about that?
I thought that I usually thought movies were made to sell tickets, and us playing ourselves, I don't know how many they'd have moved. So I think they did a great job the way it is.
Well, right under Brad Pitt, Scott Henneberg, right?
Right.
So that's perfect.
So obviously you have seen the movie.
I have seen it.
Okay, well, we haven't seen it, and there's a lot of people obviously who haven't seen it, so try not to give it away. But did you like the movie? Did you think it was a good movie? And would maybe a non-baseball fan enjoy the movie?
I do, and maybe I'm biased, and I'm no Gene Siskel here, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great character study of a guy, and I think the themes transcend baseball. I think that you can take a lot from it. It just happens to be set in that arena, but the way he's gone about things and the way he's looked at things, I think is something that could be said in a lot of different aspects of life. And they've really done it well. And the baseball part, as being a baseball player, I get real picky with how things look on, on film, and they did a really great job, authentic. They had some, pros in the business doing all sorts of things. So I thought it was a great flowing story and incredibly well acted. I thought Brad Pitt, Philip Seymour, how do they go wrong? Those guys are pros themselves. And anyway, I loved it. Hopefully I'm not too close to it to, giving a bad review of it, but I really liked it. So I think everybody else will too.
Well, that's what Jonah said. He said that the games and the action on the field and the 20-game win streak is sort of the backdrop to a much bigger story.
Right.
And he said that's where the story really kind of comes to life, because you have such a great backdrop of action on the field and winning the 20 games in a row, that type of thing.
It totally did. It was a great climactic moment. It would have been even more climactic if we could have gone to the playoffs and ran the table and put some things in stone, but we didn't. So there's that whole second guessing in the baseball world. Everybody knows the story, kind of the way it's gone, but it didn't happen that way. And it's kind of morphed this way. Even today, I think it keeps changing a little bit, the themes of the Moneyball. So I don't know. We'll see.
I have to ask you, because during the period of time that Michael Lewis was writing the book, and I think it originally started out to be an article, next thing you know, he's on Charters. He's sitting up with us, and all you guys come up, sit down, and doing all this interviewing. What did you think at that time when you were being asked by him all these different questions about baseball? I'm sure I don't even know what was asked about to you, but what were you thinking then?
Well, when he first came up to me and told me he was writing a book on the A's, I thought, okay, it's going to be about Mulder, Hudson, Zito,
Tejada, Giambi.
A lot of those guys, right, and when he started giving me, I saw he worked for the Times, I'd look at his credentials, and I'd known the guy because I had bought Liar's Poker and I had read it, so I knew, this is a legit writer. Yeah. So it kind of opens the door, and he starts asking a lot of questions, and a lot of it was the deep kind of on base, the sabermetric kind of idea, and he followed me in the video room, on the plane, everywhere. And kind of just really picked my brain, asked me a lot of questions. So I didn't know where he was going with it. I didn't know how many units he was going to move with this idea. But he's a smarter man than me.
But what were you thinking? Excuse me, guy. What were you thinking at the time, though? Here's a guy that had accessibility to you as a player and people that we all know that's very hard in this this world we live in baseball world, behind the scenes kind of thing. But what, from that regard, were you made aware of it? What were you thinking about that point?
Well, it's definitely unprecedented. Exactly. You know that. It's a very, very it's a fortress to get through it if you're an outsider. And I got to give him credit. He's a great guy. He's very smart, and he didn't. If you wanted to say no, you said no. He was not pushy, and he's just a very, very bright guy, and asked questions that were, for me, I wanted to know the answer to, and I wanted to know the answer I was going to make. I didn't know, so. I got really wrapped up in it, and maybe me being a little different than Billy Beane, and he's a little more out there than I was at the time. I was probably more forthcoming, but it was kind of neat to be a part of. I learned a lot about the whole system, throughout the whole process.
Were there some players though that maybe, I don't want to say rolled their eyes, but maybe didn't want anything to do with it?
I didn't get that sense. I don't remember anybody voicing that. But I could be wrong. I don't remember speaking to anybody about that. But, Chad Bradford was a part of it. I think it's a lot of guys without a lot of ego and maybe weren't really in the limelight. I think maybe some of the pitchers that were out there more might have, at the time, been a little more standoffish. I don't think so. Everybody's pretty good on that team, pretty good and available, I suppose.
But what did it say about those teams with Hudson, Mulder, Zito, and yourself and Tejada and Giambi? You had some good teams.
Oh, yeah. We had some good teams, and I know I think a common misconception or complaint, I guess, about the Moneyball thing is a lot gets focused on some of the glue guys, myself included, Chad Bradford, and when we did have an MVP in Tejada, we did have 3 of the best pitchers in the decade at the time. It's hard not to win. So, I understand that, but A lot of it, I think, kind of goes beyond the actual team itself, but kind of the theory of how they're getting there and how they're spending the money, and it's just kind of less focused on what they did, but how they did it and why they did it and why they went around those things. So I think there's themes kind of run in all different directions.
But that may be a better story, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, certainly you could always concentrate on maybe the best players on the team, but there's a lot more to it than just 4, 5, 6 guys, even though those guys were terrific.
Terrific. And, you know, I don't know, like being a fan of books and stories and whatever, characters, a lot of times the guy kind of behind the radar is more interesting. Sure. And I don't know if I'm one of those guys, but I know the Chad Bradford story really interested me a lot, and I think that's kind of what he focused on, some of those guys that were under the radar. So pretty interesting. Yeah. Pretty interesting story.
Scotty, one of the things, Jim Price, of course, the Tigers had a 12-game winning streak. And the thing that Jim Price said, their broadcaster, magical. Things happen.
Yeah.
And there had to be, and I know I remember games against Detroit at Comerica Park, down 5 or 6 runs. John Mabry hits a 3-run home run. I mean, all of a sudden, the magic happens. But what were you guys thinking during that time as far as we're down 4 or 5 runs, we're going to win?
You know, you hate to say that in baseball because it just doesn't happen like that. But, yes, we did feel that. It was very much a snowball effect, and it was contagious. We just kind of like, it was the 7th inning, we're down 3. We're going to find a way. Exactly. We're going to find a way. And I remember Dave Justice being vocal about it. He was like, I think when the whole thing started, we were a big road trip, 10-game road trip to start the whole thing, and he was saying, you know, you can't sweep the road trip if we don't win today, and we won, and he just kept saying it. Right. And you know how superstitious we are, and it just snowballed from there, and you know, the rest is history.
But it's not cocky, it's confidence. It's a belief that, and that's what helps a team more than anything, to come from behind late in the game, to believe that we did it now, we can do it again. And in that particular case, scoring 20 consecutive. And none more or bigger than the 20th when the 11-run lead and 11-11 and still come back to win. So, but you know, can you stick around, because I want to talk about what you're doing, and hopefully Moscoso can get out of this inning now after creating this with an error himself. But I know you're doing a lot more than just doing the movie, and want to talk about that, and because there is so much more to talk about with you, and great to have you up here.
Oh, it's good to be here. Feeling like coming home.
Well, you were a very important part, especially on these beautiful afternoon games here playing first base. I preferred you there than catching. I know the chore it was for you there. But no, that's a credit to you, because I know, you know, the bumps and bruises that you have as a catcher. And then you get a chance to move to first base, even though it was different for you. You had to be thinking, this is a piece of cake. Took my catching gear, throw it away. I don't want to be an emergency guy. Kind of like Derek Barton when he was here. Just play first base and hit and catch, block balls, do whatever you have to over there.
That was the key, though. You could never, catching, you could have a good catching game and go 0 for 4 over there. You have a good first baseman game, you better not go 0 for 4. There you go.
And Moscoso will indeed get out of the jam. Tiger Strand Affair will continue our conversation with Scott Hatteberg when we come back. We are scoreless. Hatterberg, 14 major league seasons, not too shabby for 273 career average, 106 home runs, and 4 good years with the Athletics, postseason a couple of times.
What did you do to your arm, your shoulder?
My elbow.
Elbow, okay. I knew there was something when you're throwing that.
I had a small grenade went off in Boston. As spring training, early workout, ground was wet, just kind of like made a throw, slipped, and everything blew up.
Well, we've talked about that, and the reason I wanted you to stick around because you're in baseball, you're with the A's, which we're very happy. Talk about what you're doing with the ball club.
Well, my title is Special Assistant to Baseball Operations, which I think incorporates a whole lot of things. So last year, Billy's been so cool about keeping me involved in a lot of different things, kind of finding something that, blows my hair back, I guess, as to what I might want to end up doing. I went to the scout school. I did a lot of scouting this year, amateur and pro side. So I was kind of, at home, on the road a little bit, helping out Eric Kubota and doing some of the amateur stuff, getting ready for the draft, and did a little instruction in spring training. So kind of in that direction is where I'm heading right now. And
that's how Billy started. He just walked into Sandy Alderson's office and said, enough's enough, and he became a scout, and here you are. Now here he is, general manager at Moneyball, and here you sitting here in the seminar. But you're dressing just perfectly.
I forgot my flip-flops today.
Well, one of the greatest stories has to be when Ken Maka was here. And he came in to do a fan fest or something, first pitch season tickets, whatever. And he told me that he was working in the yard in Pittsburgh. And he had the grungiest pair of jeans. He had paint and dirt all over them. Continue the story, because I think that's the greatest part about it.
Oh gosh, mind you, the time of fashion, I guess.
Right.
Everybody's wearing these tattered up old jeans, and I had a pair on that he just did not want me to be wearing those jeans. And
kind of like today.
Kind of like today, I suppose. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Ray. I appreciate it.
No, they're great. They're perfect.
No, and then he was making fun of me a lot, and me and Ken had a great rapport, and I respect the guy a ton, and he just got all over me because I think he could about those jeans. So he said, Scott, listen, quit paying $200 for those jeans. I got a pair of jeans I'm going to give you, and they're even cooler than the ones you're wearing right now. So he dug out these, I don't know where, they got paint, they had Pittsburgh lawn, dirt, and grunge all over them. He gave them to me, and they were pretty nice. I still have them to this day, and I wear them quite often. So if you're listening, Ken, thank you.
Well, I remember he said when he gave them to you, opened it up, and he expected you to go, what is this? And you said, perfect.
Perfect. Yes, they were perfect. They fit like a glove, which was kind of scary. I said, you and me are the shape the same. But,
working in baseball and continued, and I can see where you would be more on the management side. And although I'm sure you could handle on the field, coaching, doing whatever there as well. But is that something you aspire to do? I know you have family and kids and the whole thing, and you want to be at home as much as possible. But is that something long-term you'd like to do?
Well, definitely. It's what I know. It's been my life. I've been on playing professionally for 18 years, so that's a lot of time away from family. It's nice to be back home. I'm coaching softball, soccer, doing that, watching the kids grow up, and that's great. But I love being involved with this, and I want to stay involved. It's just kind of my way of keeping my foot in the door. I'm very interested in all aspects of the game. I think the scouting thing transcends the front office. I think managers and coaches they're kind of scouts in their own way. So I'm taking that avenue right now, and I wouldn't put it past me to find a spot more every day as the kids get a little older, and just the wife and I. So it's what I love, and I plan on being around it.
I saw Terry Steinbach in Minneapolis a couple of years ago, maybe last year, and he kind of said the same thing. Is that something you think that players have done? Because I think it's important that players like yourself that have meant so much to the game to stay in the game and teach. But is it a matter of, okay, I want to raise my family, and then once kind of the empty nest, or at least they're gone, maybe get back, but yet, like yourself, stay in part of it while the family's being raised? Well,
you leave this game, it just kind of goes on, and if you don't stay on board, it's hard to get back in there.
Sure.
And there's a certain knowledge that I think you need to keep maintaining as it goes on, because it changes. for me as a family guy, and you want to be a good dad and husband, it's hard to jump back into it because as a coach in that side, it's even more involved time-wise, and to do it right. And there's no other way I'd want to do it. So to dive in with that passion and all, I got to do it little bits right now, a little bit, and kind of just ramp it up as things get going. But I've had an absolute blast, and I got to thank Billy so much for doing it, for letting me kind of try some new hats on.
Well, there's no doubt that, again, with so much talent in the game today, you figure, and again, that thing about the money, the contracts that allows players to do what they want to do. So it's important that the good people stay in the game in some capacity, whether it's when they get out or in time. It is important because it still is a great game, but it still needs to have the good teachers, the good people that played the game to be able to pass that on.
Yeah, it's so true because, like I said, I wouldn't have done what I did if it wasn't for those great people, Ron Washington being one of them. It's like it's a giving back type of thing too as well. So there's so many good guys, and I'd like to hang out with some of those good guys and keep pass on the good guy stuff.
But isn't it great to sit up here and know you don't have to face Verlander?
Yeah, he looks a lot easier up there. It doesn't seem as move, or it doesn't seem that hard right now.
Only 23 wins and hasn't lost since July 15th, so he's pretty special. As Moscoso doing the same thing today. But
I'm telling you, across the league, I just as I played, it just seems the game gets better and better, and the people are throwing harder and more stuff, and it's pretty impressive.
Just think about it's a year-round job. The fact that they can work on their talents year-round, and that makes a big difference in making sure that you're ready to go the next spring.
Absolutely, and just get those quality guys. That competition, it's a world game. Everybody's playing. You're getting the best of the best, so it's pretty exciting to see.
So, Scott, you will be there tomorrow night for the big premiere here.
I will, and I will not be wearing my holy jeans. I have a suit. I will be looking polished.
All right.
I'm not even going to ask you to stand up to show these jeans. I know. That's good, though.
Well, yeah, Jonah made me dive a little bit. I think I might have put another hole in there catching that first pitch. No, he nailed it. He did great.
Well, it took him long enough. You talk about, he said he's an actor, but we found that out.
He's a method actor. He took a lot of practice.
Well, that's good. It's a beautiful day and great to have you back.
What a day,
and, more important that you're in the organization. I know we saw you briefly during, I think, Arizona. Saw you down there. And you said you're going to be involved and hadn't seen you since. So maybe it took the premiere of the movie starring Scott Hedberg to get you back here. So happy to do it.
I've beaten the high school fields and college fields looking for the next good guy. We got the Sonny Gray kid we ended up picking, who's a great selection. I'm excited to see him make his way through the minor leagues and get up here.
You bring up a good point because you are down in the trenches. You're watching. You're going to levels that you've never experienced before. What's that been like? And again, the importance of having people to be able to see and find those players to get them back up here.
Well, it's quite a process. It really is, and it's what perpetuates this whole winning tradition that we got. And we won 20 games, but that wasn't the big ring. And everybody's looking forward to that, so we're trying to find the team that's going to do it.
Great job.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
See you tomorrow night.
Stand up quickly. Stand up quickly so we can see him.
Detroit, number 14, Austin Jackson.
Ace Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Don't forget about the really big chicken sandwich combo at Jack in the Box, $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Sixth inning, and it's the top of the order. Moscoso will face Jackson, Kelly, and Young. And the first pitch is a strike. Guillermo Moscoso has yet to allow a base hit. He has struck out 6. He has walked 2. And he is sitting at 91 pitches. Jackson rips one to center. That's hit well. Coco Crisp is going back. He's at the wall, and it's gone. First hit for the Tigers is a home run. They lead 1-0. So home run number 10 for Austin Jackson, and he goes to dead center field.
Now batting, number 32, Don Kelly.
So just like that, the Tigers lead 1-0, and with Verlander pitching, it always becomes an issue if you fall behind. So here's Don Kelly. So the first hit comes in the top of the 6th inning, and it's a leadoff homer. Two and 0 now to Kelly. He'll be followed by Young and then Cabrera. Pitch is foul back. Kelly with a line out and a strikeout so far in the game. He hit a line drive to the right fielder. Swing and a miss. Fastball up around the letters. Kelly missed it. 2-2.
And we always talk about the way the ball carries much better during daytime baseball, and not that Jackson didn't hit the ball well, but to carry it out straightaway center, just barely made it. But give him credit for taking advantage of a pitch when he's behind in the count.
So Kelly strikes out. You know what? Hey, night game, cooler. Yeah. This may not go out. It did not go out by a lot.
But it's a fastball that he swung through first couple of at bats and did strike out the first 2. And you're right, the first hit for the Tigers was one that just barely made it over the center field wall. Coco, great speed, just could not get back. Can't corner at Comerica Park. Unfortunately, this game played at the Coliseum. As far as that particular hit's concerned, we're happy to be here, but that is a ball that Comerica Park is huge from left center to right center.
1-0 to Delmon Young. Young struck out swinging in the first, and then he was robbed of a hit by Scott Sizemore in the 4th. Sizemore with a diving stop to his left got up and threw out Young.
Really hard to believe that for Moscoso to go through 5 innings. His own error created a little bit of a problem last inning, but started this inning with 90 pitches thrown, and now he's over 100. That was his 100th pitch just thrown in the 6th inning. Kansas City, of course, the near perfect game, near no hitter. He threw 129. That's a season best. Career best for him, because he has not been in the rotation before this season.
Breaking ball, and Young goes around, tagged out at the plate, and that is strikeout number 8.
Well, he started from the beginning of the game with his good curveball, and for Delmon Young, did not go to the field at first base, and I think had they, he might have. This was called by Mike DeMuro, the home plate umpire, and again, his bat did not go through that far, but he put up. Oh, it's the wrong side.
Swinging.
Yeah, flip it around.
2 outs for Cabrera. He takes up and away. Cabrera, fly ball to left field and a line drive to right field. He's 0 for 2, 2 for 8 in the series.
There's no doubt with some of the defensive plays made by the A's in this game, and the air, which was a good play by Allen last inning, the feed to Moscoso, couldn't handle it. But it's one of those, you start looking at great defensive plays. Yeah, maybe this is going to be a special time against a very good team, the Tigers, and especially Verlander on the mound for Detroit.
Just missed low. 2-1 the count. Well, the A's have just 2 hits. Single by Sizemore in the first, single by Crisp in the fourth. Swing there by Cabrera as he fouls it straight back. Well, it's that kind of day. It's actually a little humid today, which you don't see a lot of here at the ballpark.
Those ice is good.
Yeah.
Get the different flavors, rainbow color flavors, and
a little extra down at the bottom when you're done.
You hope it doesn't leak out.
Yeah, exactly. Get to it before it leaks.
That's right, because the bottom of the cup gets soft and might sneak right through. And
yeah, there's a time limit.
And you get down there thinking the big things are waiting for you, and it's gone. Gone. And if you're out in the sun, it's going to melt fast. But that looks like it's a plastic cup. Well, that's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Those old paper cups, the cones.
That one's hit down the right field line, and it's foul. Home run distance.
Oh, big guy is scary, man. He's got some power, and no matter where he hits them, there's always concern. Is he going to be enough? Ball just started to slice a little bit too much from Cabrera's standpoint. A high fastball. And again, he's more of an opposite field hitter if you think about it with a fastball, but you make a mistake with his with off speed, he will jump on it quickly and pull it.
Well, wouldn't you agree, Ray? If you think about it, that'd be the best way to be it.
That's right.
You get a fastball, you're not afraid to hit it the other way. A breaking ball, you pull it, but that would mean that you're waiting longer on each pitch.
Striking out fewer times, you're drawing more walks, and especially with the high fastballs that he's laid off in this 4-game series so far, starting with McCarthy.
Goes to right field with this one, but gets underneath it. De Jesus. He's got it side retired, but Austin Jackson, a leadoff home run here in the 6th inning. First hit for the Tigers. They lead 1-0. Slight freeze cam. Coors Light Freeze Cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. It's the world's most refreshing beer. Moscoso obviously disappointed with the home run to Jackson to straightaway center field. Still pitching extremely well. He's trailing 1-0. It'll be Sogard, Weeks, and Sizemore to face Verlander.
And he is hopeful that the A's can score a couple of runs, because it looks like Fuentes is going to be coming in for the 7th inning. Pitch count, no doubt, has gotten to Moscoso.
Sogard lifts one toward left center. And Jackson's under it. He's got it. So 1 out here in the 6th. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for Verlander so far. 74 pitches, so the pitch count's not too bad.
Now batting, second baseman.
Well, the only hit, and it was the first inning, was a former teammate, former Tiger, Scott Sizemore. That was in the first inning. They have 2. Yes, they did. I missed one. Coco got 1. You're right.
2 out, single by Crisp in the 4th.
Busy talking about?
Yeah, he had fun. He had fun. Scott Hatterberg's a good guy. Weeks swung out of his helmet. Fuentes just now starting to loosen up.
We might see JEMILE Weeks try to become a Dwayne Kuiper before the end of the season. Your brother, and not the 1 home run, but I think JEMILE's really trying his best to put a 1 in the column.
So he's behind in the count, 0-2. The average sitting right at 300 for Weeks.
But how great would it be? Moscoso looks on in hopes of some runs, but for JEMILE Weeks, he hit over 300 for his career, which is going to be a long one. And if you're going to put 1 in there, just put a 0. You know, it just
That's right.
Just go your whole career. And, you know.
Why don't you run that by him, see what he says?
No, I do, and he just keeps laughing.
Not that funny, huh?
Yeah. But he's going to get stronger. He's going to hit home runs. I mean, you can just run into one every once in a while.
Hangs in there that time, fouls it back.
Steve Stone will forever be remembered for 1 second baseman getting in and running into 1.
So another 1-2 to Weeks. Breaking ball, but stays high. The Rangers are leading the Mariners 3-0, top of the 7th inning up in Seattle. It's Hernandez still on the mound, but trailing. Harrison and Hernandez, the starting pitching matchup there. So Texas needs to win to hold off the Angels. Angels won. Rangers trying to maintain their 4.5 game lead in the AL West.
And that half game will be changed tomorrow because the Rangers will be off while the Angels will be playing.
But the Angels will pick up a game on Boston in that wild card. So that final was Tampa Bay 8, Boston 5. So the Rays, well, they didn't sweep, but taking 3 out of 4 at Fenway, not too shabby. So they are still in it. 3-2 pitches, bounce towards second. Rayburn has it. And that's out number 2. So with that Rays win and the Angels win, Red Sox lose. That is the updated wild card. Both the Rays and the Red Sox have 10 games left. If you're looking for strength of schedule, which doesn't always come into play, but the Rays have 7 games left against the Yankees, including a doubleheader on Wednesday. I think they got a couple makeup games with the Yankees yet. So each team with 10 left. The Red Sox have 7 against the Orioles and 3 against the Yankees.
But look what the Orioles did to the Angels. And they've got,
you just don't know.
Yeah, everything to gain, nothing to lose. And you know that Buck Showalter is going to have them playing hard, just like Bob Melvin is against these teams. And you know, managers expect the teams, their players, to play right to the end.
Cabrera will give chase. So both the Yankees and the Red Sox lose. So the Yankees' magic number to clinch the division is now 7. In the National League, Milwaukee won. St. Louis will play tonight, so Milwaukee has a magic number of 4 to clinch the Central. Arizona is winning. The Giants are winning. Their magic number, being Arizona, is 6. Strike called on the outside corner. 2-2. Phillies are in. They secured a playoff spot 4 or 5 days ago. Last night they clinched the division, the NL East, for the 5th consecutive year. So right now just the Phillies and the Tigers in, and that is called a ball. And
that fooled Mike DeMuro.
Sizemore has second life, because that was a pretty good pitch.
Well, the buckling in the knees, not only the hitter, but maybe the umpire as well. As DeMuro, I don't know what he didn't like about it, but Scott Sizemore does get a reprieve.
Wow.
Strike 5.
Wow. Verlander can't believe it. So it's the walk. Well, tune in to NBC 11 tonight immediately after Sunday Night Football. Jim Cosmore and Bill Romanowski provide in-depth wrap-up of the teams you care about, with on-site post-game reaction from the 49ers, Raiders, and complete A's and Giants coverage. It's brought to you by the Bay Area's largest sports team, Comcast Sportsnet, and you'll see it only on NBC 11.
While you were telling us about Xfinity, the pitcher, Justin Verlander, walked almost to second base and just wandering around behind the pitcher's mound and looking in at Mike DeMuro, and now he is hearing it from the bench of the Tigers.
Well, listen, in fairness to Verlander, not that he needs any help, but they made both of his strikes.
Exactly.
The last one was definitely a strike. That one squibbed toward third. Kelly backhands on a knee and throws out COCO Crisp side. Retired. A's get the walk, nothing else, and we're headed to the 7th. 1-0. Question. Jerry from Yuba City asks, who are some of your favorite players from the Moneyball era?
For the Athletics, number 57, Ryan Fuente.
I thought Scott Hatteberg said it best. You had the star players, and there was a bunch, but you also had the, what do you want to call them, role players?
Yeah.
And sometimes role players are just as important as the star players.
Yeah, I think to me, John Mabry, when he came over in 2002 in Philadelphia, and you know, he was one of those players that maybe just kind of here and was going to be gone quickly, but boy, he stayed around, was great player, a veteran in the clubhouse.
Hits, huh?
And he got some huge hits. I mean, just seemed like every time he came up at a time when the A's needed a run, he came through. And whether it was hitting to left field, whereas an opposite field for him, or pulling the ball in the seats for a home run, but just a class individual. And you know, one of those guys, nothing was expected of him, but he did more than anybody ever dreamed that he would do. But you know, there's Hudson Mulder-Zito. Come on, I mean, you're looking at 3 of the best pitchers during that period of time, and the records were well above 500. Tejada an MVP, Zito the Cy Young Award winner.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts, as Brian Fuentes takes over.
I think Scott Hatteberg said it best. It would have been nice to not only win the division and go to postseason, but to win a world championship. But, well, there's no doubt it is so difficult to go through 3 different, the division, the league championship, and the World Series. You play a maximum of 19 games. You have to win 11 to be world champions. And it's just a matter of getting there. And once you get postseason, of course, the 8 teams are the best in baseball. With the best pitching, the best hitting, the best defense. Everything is the best of the best. And you know, you get in and you're facing those. So what you might do in a 162-game schedule, it is a new season. And you look at 4 years that the A's won the world championship. The first 3 were basically win your division, play a 5-game league championship series, go to the World Series. So it was much different then than it is now with a 5-game division series. And then 7-7 for the league championship and the World Series.
Two and 2 to Victor Martinez.
It is great coming to the park every day, broadcasting for a team that won 100 games. You know,
it's a different deal, right? There's no doubt about it.
Very different. You're basically winning 2/3 of your games that you play when you come out here, and that's, if somebody takes them out, that's a win. You're going to win it.
3 and 2 now to Victor Martinez. Martinez has walked and he has reached on an error. Well, a terrific performance by Moscoso, but a few too many pitches in the game. It was just the 6th, the 1 hit, and it was a home run. It's the only run of the game. Brandon Allen has it, so Martinez is retired.
This may be the fastball that he threw to Austin Jackson in his 3rd at bat. After throwing fastballs by him basically the first 2 at bats, maybe the one last inning in the 6th didn't have as much on it as he was in that, making his 92nd pitch of the game. But Brian Fuentes has done a tremendous job for the A's coming in, and this a very important inning because it is the 7th, and ideally like to score some runs, get the 8th and 9th with Balfour and Bailey. Joey Devine, who was handling the 7th inning since in AAA. Fuentes has done great, whether it's facing righties or lefties.
Want to know to Alex Avila, who has struck out twice in the game. 1 for 11 in this series, so very good hitter. A's have kept him quiet so far.
How do you think Mike DeMille can call a close pitch on Avila, who caught the pitches that he thought were strikes when Verlander was pitching? Let's see. I'll take care of my catcher. Nope.
Ryan Rayburn is in the on-deck circle. Inside, and Avila was able to check his swing.
He's kind of a wrist hitter, and Well, he brought the bat through with his body, but the appeal this time not called by the home plate umpire. Instead, it was the third base umpire and made the right call.
Close pitch, and Avila takes the walk. A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Cache Creek's Money Tree. Win $500 cash every hour from noon until 11 p.m. Visit CacheCreek.com for details. So the Tigers with a one-out base runner here in the top of the 7th inning. For a strike to Rayburn, who came into the game for Carlos Guillen. Guillen left, not sure exactly what the injury was. It came up a little bit lame. Really a play where he was not involved in when he was out at second base. So Rayburn comes in. He walked in the 5th. Toward Brandon Allen in foul territory. And that is out number 2. So Andy Dirks will hit, left-hander.
Now batting, number 12, Andy Dirks.
In the National League today, the Atlanta Braves lost. The Mets beat the Braves 7-5. Mets took 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. So that tightens up that National League wild card. Now St. Louis will play tonight at Philadelphia. So with that Atlanta loss, St. Louis is now 4 back. The Giants continue to hang around. They're 4.5 back. So it's hard to imagine Atlanta struggling. That's such a good team.
Tim Hudson did his job yesterday, and that's not surprising as he made some adjustments in his delivery.
They are a little bit banged up in the starting pitching guard of the Braves, but that is updated right there. Giants are winning 12-5 in the 9th inning at Colorado. And again, the Cardinals play tonight. Weeks on the backhand, makes a nice play, throws in time to get Dirks. Side retired. 7th inning stretch from the O.co Coliseum. Tigers with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 7th inning, he's thrown 89 pitches in the first 6 innings. So that is the challenge for the Athletics. Got to get to Verlander. The last hit came in the 4th inning, a 2-out single by Coco Crisp. He's walked 3, struck out 4.
Come on, Willingham, we love ya. Do it more.
So it'll be Willingham, DeJesus, and Carter. Willingham, fly ball toward left. Delmon Young has a good eye on this one. He's got it. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Willingham is 0 for 2 with a walk.
You know, that swing was, I may be getting my best pitch the first pitch. I'm going to swing.
And he may have.
Yeah.
Now batting, right fielder, number 12, David.
90 pitches for Verlander after the last one, and he's really not had a stressful inning. It's just one of those that just moving right along, and you'd think that JEMILE might be considering a relief pitcher, and maybe, who knows, for the 8th and 9th inning, pitch count probably be up over 100. But on one hand, he wants him to keep getting the wins personally as well as the team, and they're still fighting for the home field advantage, something to shoot for. But I think more than anything, see the double barrel action for the Athletics. Bullpen with Balfour joining Breslow. They just want to stay sharp as possible leading into their first round of the playoffs. Too many horror stories about teams that had too many days in between their clinching and first round, that, or even once postseason begins.
Good breaking ball in for a strike. 1-2 to DeJesus. Fly out to left, fly out to center for DeJesus. That was pitch number 94 for Verlander. Base hit to right field. So that is hit number 3 for the A's. Well, San Jose Sharks hockey is back and better than ever on CSN California. The Sharks and Comcast Sportsnet want to celebrate by giving away 5 family 4-packs of tickets to our loyal fans. Log on to the Sharks page on csncalifornia.com to enter. Sharks will be starting action soon. Steve Yzerman from the Detroit Red Wings fame. That's not him, just a jersey. Here's Carter, who bends back out of the way from the fastball. A couple of strikeouts for Carter, 1 swinging, 1 looking. Miles an hour. So we talked about it early in the game, that Verlander's velocity generally goes up as the game goes on and keeps a little bit in reserve.
Well, Bob Melvin has done a very good job usually informing players the day before the upcoming game, telling them whether they're going to play, not going to play, to what, get a day off. How do you think Chris Carter slept last night when he was probably told by Bob Melvin that you're going to start tomorrow against Justin Verlander? Have a good night. Guys won 23, but you know, these young players, Carter, Taylor, guys have come up to big leagues, record, wanting to get a chance to play. And well, if you can do something against the best in the league, that says a lot about your character and your ability to play the game. Wow. How about that save?
That was a big league save.
Speaking of hockey, and a save, and a goalie. Hard breaking ball. And Alex Avila just backhand, spun him around, and kept the ball from getting past him for a wild pitch, and that would have been the wild pitch.
So Carter waits the 2-1 pitch from Verlander. First, a throw to first, and a pretty close play.
Quick feet, quick move, and maybe the Jesus really didn't have a very big lead, but made it a close play anyway.
Swing and a miss. There's the good breaking ball from Verlander. I would say probably a great breaking ball. I don't want to shortchange this guy.
Well, you can have a great season at AAA, and you could say, get the big leads, and I've never seen that pitch before. And he might get a bigger and better one this time.
Not going to call it.
No. It's almost like he doesn't want to ring up a guy 3-2, or when he has 2 strikes. Had a chance with Allen, or make it Sizemore last inning. A 3-2 fastball down the middle, a little bit low according to Muir.
One out here in the bottom of the 7th. Fastball, Carter swings and misses that one at 98 miles an hour. So Carter with 3 strikeouts.
Pitch number 101 at 98 miles per hour, and there's your extra in reserve up the ladder. A little bit high. He looked to see if De Jesus was running. Not a bad idea really not to run, because he is a strikeout pitcher, is Verlander, and can get a little bit of extra oomph on it when he needs it, and he did it then.
Well, you watch that windup though, Ray. It's about as simple as you're going to get.
Sure.
So he's generating 97, 98 from really what is a very basic motion, basic delivery. It's not a violent, funky delivery at all. He doesn't even really lift that front leg real high when he's in the stretch. But you know, a lot of guys, a lot of relievers, they throw hard. Boy, it's every pitch is up.
Yeah.
Max. It almost doesn't even look like Verlander is a maximum pitch guy every time.
Well, you can understand why he's thrown a couple of no-hitters, and why every time he takes the mound, kind of the Nolan Ryan feeling that he could be that special, he could do it again.
Yep.
Because he has the quality pitchers to be able to do it. Line Express had seven different catchers. One of them here. It was his 6th pitched here.
Just missed inside. 2-1 to Brandon Allen. Some of the contenders for the AL Cy Young. Sabathia, great year. Weaver, great year. But unfortunately, none of them, unfortunately for those two, the numbers just don't add up to Verlander's. Just, I mean, first in wins, first in ERA, first in innings, first in strikeouts, first in opponent's batting average.
Well, they call it the triple crown of pitching, and that's exactly what he will do this year. But last year again, Felix Hernandez had the lowest ERA, dominated, but did not have a lot of run support. Well, this guy's got everything this year.
Wow. Mike DeMero's got to be doing that on purpose. How can you not call this a strike?
And it's not where Avila caught it. That's put the heart of the plate. It crossed the plate above the knees.
Allen will take it, and he gets another shot, and he lines one to right field, but it's right at Dirk's side, retired. And Verlander is asking DeMero, where is the pitch? I want to know. And now they're going to chat about it. 1-0 Tigers. Raiders catch all the great games, including the home opener, next Sunday, September 25th, and it's against the New York Jets. Season tickets are still available, so call 1-800-RAIDERS or log on to Raiders.com to get your tickets today. This was Verlander talking to home plate umpire Mike DeMero as he walked up. And this is the pitch he's complaining about, and you folks, I'm going to let you decide whether
right there. I mean, it crosses the plate, not where Avila catches it, it's where it crossed the plate. And he was basically telling the ball is breaking. That's a curveball. That's a break. It's moving. It's not where he catches it. Exactly right, Justin.
Can't argue with him there. Have you ever seen a pitcher tell the umpire, it's breaking. It's breaking.
That's a curveball.
That was funny. 1-0 to Santiago. And a new pitcher for the Athletics as Craig Breslow comes in. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Breslow takes over here, top of the 8th inning.
Well, again, games for Breslow continue to mount, to rise, and that's good for him. As he said, he pitches better the more he does pitch. We have seen it throughout the time he's been here.
Sogard, nice play on the backhand and throws out Santiago.
Well, again, what Verlander's talking about is true, but look at the distance. Look where this plate is and where Avila catches the ball here. So it crosses but ends up down here. So it's crossing home plate, but Avila's catching it down really about shin high. And there is the distance between home plate and where the catcher sets up, because you get some hitters in the back of the batter's box. Catcher could be some 3 or 4 feet behind the home plate area.
Austin Jackson goes right back up the middle. Breslow, it's knocked over. So Jackson is 2 for 4.
That's why you don't want to be a pitcher.
Man.
Your attention, please.
Hinge is going to pinch hit for Kelly.
Batting for Don Kelly, number 15, Brandon Inge.
So here's Inge, the pinch hitter. Now we're going to be another postseason decision for Jim Leyland if Brandon Inge is in the lineup. He's struggling season for Inge, 200. But a good performer for a long time for Detroit. And I don't think it's a situation where Inge has lost it. He's not that old.
Well, he's a team favorite, there's no doubt, and Jim Leyland knows the importance of having veterans, especially in postseason, guys that have been there, know how to play when the game's on the line, especially at that time of the season. And as we speak,
rips one over Willingham's head, off the wall. Austin Jackson's being waved home. Sogard's throw to the plate is late. Jackson scores. It's 2-0 Detroit. So Inge comes through with an RBI double.
Oh, the speed of Jackson, he read it perfectly, and with the ball in front of him, even with one out, he knew the ball was going to be over the head of Josh Willingham. And Brandon Inge, a good home run hitter. Average has not always been high, but this one stayed in the park. High hop, and of course allowed Gene Lamont, third base coach that is, to send Austin Jackson. He can fly, and he's showing exactly why he was sent.
Here's Delmon Young. Young loops one, foul, and it'll one bounce go into the seats. Delmon Young is 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts. 1 for 12 in the series. Andrew Kerrigan starts to throw for the A's. Hayes play Young toward right center.
It's kind of like Cabrera in a sense where you play him that way if it's a fastball, but he will cheat a little bit or turn on off-speed pitches.
This one's looped toward Allen, who gets back. He's got it, and that's the second out. So Delmon Young is 0 for 4, and here's Cabrera with first base open.
Now batting, number 24, Miguel. Cabrera.
Not that it gets a whole lot easier if you were to put him on, because Victor Martinez is in the on-deck circle. They are going to put Cabrera on.
Not the first time, and Victor Martinez was signed as a free agent, 4-year deal. Boston wanted to retain him. He was traded from Cleveland to Boston, but they wanted him in the middle of this lineup, especially protection for Miguel Cabrera. And not only that, Victor Martinez joins, as they say, the Venezuelan connection of Guillen, and we hope he's okay, Cabrera, and Ordonez.
There's a ball loose out in left field. That's the holdup. Well, in the American League, the best batting average with runners in scoring position, Miguel Cabrera, 391. The second best batting average with runners in scoring position, Victor Martinez, 387. And they're not going anywhere. Martinez is signed through 2014, Cabrera through 2015. So here comes Martinez. A walk, reached on an air, and grounded out so far in the ball game.
Number 41, Victor Martinez.
So 0 for 2 today, 4 for 13 in the series. So Martinez, the switch hitter, steps in. And the first pitch blocked by Suzuki. So the A's will be off tomorrow, and they will host the Texas Rangers. A night game on Tuesday, a night game on Wednesday, and a day game on Thursday the 22nd. And that, of course, is the final home game of this 2011 season. Rangers 3, Mariners nothing, 8th inning. Inside corner strike.
That's it. The final home game for the A's will be a day game, and unfortunately the final game of the regular season will be a night game. Unusual. Never ever have I remembered the game finishing, season finishing any day other than Sunday.
I would really like it if the Mariners would change that to a day game next
I don't think they are. But that will be a night game in Seattle. You know, the Mariners are allowed to play only so many day games because of the traffic in the downtown, what they call the something south of downtown. But anyway, that creates too much traffic. Well, that should have been an exception. The final game of the season.
Brandon Allen knocks it down, and he'll take it himself in a nice play by Brandon Allen. So Breslow gives up a run on the double by Inch. It's 2-0.
Upper deck? No way!
Here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Guillermo Moscoso, very good. 6 innings, 8 hits. But he was matched up against Verlander, the heavy favorite for the American League Cy Young Award. And this was the only hit that Moscoso would allow. Can you believe that? It was a leadoff homer in the 6th inning to Austin Jackson. Tigers would add a run in the 8th inning, and they lead 2-0. 2-3-0 for Detroit, 0-3-1 for the Athletics. So lots of pitching today. And Verlander, who is looking for his 24th win, he's thrown 107 pitches, and he's back out there.
Well, we saw him going up the runway, thought maybe he was finished after 7 innings, but then looked down to the bullpen, nobody was loosening up, so he is going to stay in the game.
Joaquin Benoit is starting to throw down in the bullpen right now, but Verlander back to work. He faces Suzuki, Sogard, and Weeks. And he's going to get a first pitch out if somebody can handle this pop-up, and it's Ryan Rayburn that does. So Brandon Inge stays in the game. He is now at third base. And I said Rayburn, and I was wrong. It's Danny Worth. Worth is now at second, and Rayburn has shifted to right.
Eric Sogard.
So there's your defensive changes.
Well, with Valverde heading down to the bullpen from the dugout. You know where or who will be pitching the 9th inning if it stays the same. He's trying to change that here in the bottom of the 8th. He will slow the game down. Joaquin Benoit will, but he may just be throwing and getting loose if necessary for this 8th inning. 110 pitches for Verlander, so he's still okay. That is a curveball.
That is a good curve. It's breaking.
Not where he catches it.
That curve stays high. So 2-2 the count to Sogard with 0 for 2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Verlander. We'll go deep with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Highlights from our game here at the Coliseum. The Raiders, tough loss in Buffalo, and the 49ers hosting the Cowboys right now at Candlestick. That's a good game. Henry Wolford, John Henry Smith will host. So busy day all around sports and a busy day in Bay Area sports. First pitch to Weeks. He went after a fastball inside and he broke his back.
Kevin's got another one for him. These guys are sharp. Kevin and Greg. Bat boys. Now maybe that's Greg. I think Kevin's just kicking back against the fence. That is Valverde on the right, the closer for the Tigers. So I think Verlander, had he been trained, and pitchers of this era trained to make 40 starts, he could be a 30-game winner. You look at a season he has had this year that if he wins out the rest of his games, including today, it would be 26 for him, as he has 23 starting play today. Get a couple of more starts, but
Bill Gullickson, a 20-game winner, 1991.
that's amazing. I think Denny McClain, 68. Mickey Lolich.
Well, he's the only 20-game winner in baseball right now.
That's right. Well, it's so rare just because guys are making 34, 35 starts, and look at the number of innings they're pitching. Except for CC, the guys like Verlander.
So he has an 8-pitch, 8th inning, and it's 2-0 Tigers as we head to the 9th.
Fresno, California, is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Chevrolet. Go to ChevyBaseball.com to support youth baseball and help make a moment kids will never forget.
Two 2-0 Tigers lead behind that man, Justin Verlander. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Josh Outman comes in, and he will pitch the ninth. Third consecutive left-hander out of the bullpen. So Avila, Rayburn. See, it wouldn't be Dirks, would it?
No.
It would be Worth, probably.
Yep. That's right. These other two already in there.
I think I'd have this down by now.
Oh, you're doing just fine.
Thank you very much.
Maybe it was Jonah Hill throwing out the first pitch. He got everything
messed us all up. Two and one to Avila, who is 0 for 2 with a walk, a couple of strikeouts. So 3 and 1 to Avila. In the bottom of the ninth, it'll be Sizemore, Crisp, and Willingham. And it looks like it will be Jose Valverde.
Big guy.
The big guy.
Oh, we just have to watch him leave the bullpen and head in. That's a treat in itself.
That's right. 3 squirts of the water and off he goes. And I'm not making it up.
And he jumps over the little hop, skip, and a jump over the white line, the foul line. But it's a routine that he's used all season long. He's not going to change now, just for us.
Avila right up the middle. He's got a base hit. So Alex Avila has his first hit, just the 4th hit for Detroit.
Now batting, number 25, Ryan Rayburn.
So Ryan Rayburn gets his 3rd at bat.
Yeah, guys, pitchers will finish a game and they'll go upstairs and get ice put on their arms, elbow, shoulder. Justin Verlander, sleeveless, leaning on the rail. He's down by the dugout, just watching his team play the remainder of this game. And the way he's going, he probably does not need to do anything different. Just keep pitching. If he's as hot in the postseason as he is right now and has been this season, it could be a season that the Tigers will remember for a while. Tommy Edza just reminds us, Earl Hershiser, 1988. Broke Don Drysdale's consecutive scoreless innings pitched, and Simon Ward took it to the World Series through the League Championship Series and World Series, and won 2 games in the series against the A's.
Rayburn won around on the 2-0 pitch.
And those are your hot teams and hot pitchers that you're talking about, that as an opposing team, you don't want to face one of those, either pitcher or team.
This one's hit to right center, and that's hit well. Long run for DeJesus and Crisp, and it is off the wall. Avila is going to be held at third. Rayburn with a long double. So 2nd and 3rd and nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning.
We entered the game in the last half inning defensively at second base.
You see just a nice swing, got it elevated a little bit. Probably the elevation kept it in the park. Wayne might have knocked it down a little bit, swirling a little. Avila could not be assured that it was not going to be caught, so he could only make it to third. Andrew Kerrigan again in the bullpen.
So here's Danny Worth. Now, talking about facing a hot pitcher first game of the series, which is going to be the case whoever faces the Tigers. To play devil's advocate, if you beat that guy, that can be a huge situation for you, like the A's did when they beat Santana in 06.
Absolutely.
I mean, you beat somebody like that in game 1. Well, now you're saying, listen, worst case scenario, we face him in game 5. We're not going to face him for 3 more games.
Right.
I think that helped the A's in 06.
There's no doubt they ended up sweeping the Twins because they had Santana and Liriano. The Twins did. That's why the A's initially had hoped they'd play the Tigers in the first round. But as they found in the League Championship Series, that was a mistake because they played well. But I guess from the A's standpoint, to go back to Detroit and wake up and snow's on the ground, that's not a good sign.
It was chilly. Danny Worth gets his first at bat today. Worth pops it up, shallow left. Willingham, Christ coming together, and it's going to be Willingham who's got it, and the bluff by Avila, and he stays at third. So that's out number 1. But not quite deep enough. And here's Ramon Santiago.
Well, Coco Crisp came over, but Josh Willingham took it, and Avila was going to be shooting up a flare anyway, especially with nobody out. Until the play in again. And good job of Josh Outman getting the first one with the infield pulled in, trying to do it again. A tough Santiago. It's been tough in this series against the A's.
Good change up there from Outman.
Pitch that he likes to throw a lot.
Fastball is down and in. Santiago 3 groundouts today, playing shortstop. Johnny Peralta getting the day off. It's a final now. The Rangers beat the Mariners 3-0.
Another shutout for him.
Matt Harrison squeezes on, bunted back to Outman, and it's well done. And it's going to get the A's or get the Tigers their 3rd run. Avila scores. Give the RBI to Santiago, his 29th.
Well, I have to admit, as Bob Millman's going to go to Kerrigan, I've not seen that yet this season. That might be in the first squeeze we've seen attempted, and it was perfect. Perfectly executed with the left-handed back to the runner coming down the line as Avila was 3/4 of the way before Santiago made contact, which is all he had to do.
So Kerrigan coming in, trying to keep this a 3-0 game. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in to pitch for the Athletics, number 67, Andrew.
By authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
The Tigers have added a run here in the ninth, and they have a runner at third with 2 outs. Bob Melvin doing everything he can to keep this just a 3-run deficit. Kerrigan comes in to face Jackson, and the first pitch is in the dirt. So out in 2/3 of an inning, gives up a couple of hits.
Don't see the squeeze used that much, and Tigers worked it perfectly.
Low again, 2-0.
The old master just pulling the tricks out of the hat.
Fastball catches the outside corner, 2-1. Same pitch, same call, 2-2. Toward right, but right at DeJesus. Side retired, a run on 2 hits for the Tigers. Bottom of the ninth coming up. It's Detroit 3, the A's nothing. Bottom of the ninth inning from the O.Co Coliseum. Detroit 3 and the A's nothing. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Jose Valverde comes in. Save opportunity. He's 45 for 45 this year.
I thought you were going to say he's 45 years old.
He's younger than that, I think. First pitch up and in. He got the save on Friday night when the Tigers clinched the division.
And it really doesn't matter how old he is because he does get the job done. 4 times a night. Well, this year, every time because he hasn't blown a save.
Sizemore is 1 for 2, a single and a walk. He is the only Athletic that's been on base more than once. He has 3 hits in this game. Our Sizemore single in the first, Crisp single in the 4th, DeJesus single in the 7th. Up and in again, and it's 3-0. There you go, folks. He does this every single time. Spits once, spits twice, spits 3 times, and then he's off to the races.
And here we go.
He shuts her down. That's good. I'm loose.
And that's the extent of his running for the day. Even before the game, pitcher's run, that's his running. I'll run from the bullpen to the mound.
And the 3-0 pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Did not have to be.
You ever see the great Max Paxton, the clown Prince of Baseball?
Did, yeah.
He could take a mouthful of water and spew it out like the guys are. And it's like Valverde. How much water does he have in his mouth to do what he does coming out of the bullpen?
Just enough.
Yeah. I guess he knows just enough how much he needs.
Full count to Sizemore. Outside corner, strike 3 call. About 6 inches outside, but it called the strike.
Time now for the Fremont Bank plays of the game. Justin Verlander going for win number 24. He left with 8 innings of shutout baseball and really just a great assortment of pitches. Some curveballs that probably were better than others, but not called. But he was very good as expected. Did not let anybody down. He got just enough offense. And in the case of Verlander, when you won 23, almost 24, you don't need much offense. Just a run would be enough. And that's what he got. He actually got 2.
A little bit inside to Coco Crisp, who's 1 for 3. On the inside corner. Here's the strikeout pitch to Sizemore. What do you think?
Hey, Tommy Can. Verlander would love to have gotten those calls.
Willingham on deck. A's need a couple of base runners. Get that tying run to the plate. Coco had a good swing. Pops a foul left side. So our next telecast will be Tuesday, 6:30 A's pregame live. The ball game a little after 7. Derek Holland, 14-game winner against Rich Arden. So the first place Rangers will be in town. Bounce to Inge, who leaps up to catch it, then throws to first. He's got a strong arm. He shows it off there, and that's out number 2.
A lot of Tiger fans down behind the Tigers dugout, and probably transplanted fans who maybe live in the West Coast and happy, especially in the wintertime when it's cold and snowing back in Detroit, Michigan, and we're living out here where it's always nice. But still cheering for the teams. Few Red Sox Caps fans scattered throughout. Tigers, they've got their fans across the country just like other teams do.
Fastball strike to Willingham.
Just don't think they call them the Tiger Nation.
Nope.
It's the Red Sox Nation, and of course the Yankee fans everywhere, but Tigers just a long, long history of success.
In for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Willingham. pitches from the far, far first base side of the rubber. He is way over there. Tough to get a whole lot further. One and two to Willingham, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Fastball is high. So when those Texas Rangers get to town on Tuesday, magic number of 6. Although the Angels will play tomorrow night, so the magic number could be 5 for Texas.
Could be 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Of course, it still would need help from the Angels if the Rangers wanted to do it here.
2-2 pitch is popped up. Santiago, the shortstop, puts his hand up. He's got it, and that's the ball game. So Verlander and Valverde combined for the 3-hit shutout. The A's are shut out for the 15th time this year. That's the most in the American League. So Detroit and the A's split this 4-game series. Each win a pair. The final this afternoon from the Coliseum. It's the Tigers 3 and the Athletics nothing for Verlander, his 24th win of the year. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody Brazil and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.
Oh, shit.